Hello and welcome to round 3 of the UK National Points Series at Cannock Chase in Staffordshire. The weather's prime, the course is running really well, so let's get stuck in and go racing.
Welcome to Cannock Chase, a really popular venue with both the riders and the spectators. Some key features there. The rock garden in particular is a pretty spicy one that always has some spills claiming bikes and riders. This weekend though, the rocks were nice and dry, so hopefully everyone gets through cleanly. Now for the Elite Open race, front row of the grid we have Jason Boutelle from Destination Bike, Thomas Main from Hope Factory Racing, Charlie Aldridge, who had an absolutely epic weekend last weekend at Novomesto, Warren Carrick Anderson, Max Greensill, and finally, Stevie James round out the front row of the grid. And we're off and racing, everyone getting away cleanly, which is always good to see because it's quite a fast start. As you can see, it's flat, but quickly goes into single track. Early in the race, a lead group got away of 4 riders. We had Jason Boutelle leading out, Charlie Aldridge in second wheel, Max Greensill in third, and Corin Carrick Anderson in fourth. As you can see, as we get into one of the more technical sections, Charlie using his recent form from his 4th place at Novomesto World Cup to make a bit of a gap. Thomas Main, though, starting to come through and close in on this lead group as Charlie drops the hammer to get away on the open section before heading into the rock garden, getting a clean run in. Now you can see Charlie on the right here, slightly harder line, but much straighter and easier to carry speed through towards the bottom, whereas Max is going wider through the rougher section, although still carrying good speed. This slow-mo shows it just how rough this rock garden is and how hard the riders are having to work to keep the bikes pointing straight. Great to see these modern bikes soaking it all up, really well set up. And after the rock garden, you can see that Corin and Charlie have gotten a bit of a gap on Max. Now, as we come into the drop, we can see the group are back together. Max is joined back on. All riders there taking the right line, whereas Jason comes in and takes the left, which I actually thought was the better line because it set you up better for the corner. But different lines work for different riders, as we can see here perfectly, with Charlie going to the bottom and Max going to the top and Corin going to the lower line as well. Here we can also see Charlie doubling up over this little log. Makes a big difference doing this sort of move because such a flat course, you really have to carry that speed and momentum through these rougher sections. And it's really important to keep speed in the bike because every time you hit a bump, you're slowing the bike down and you've got to get on the pedals to get that bike back up to speed again. And it's all about conserving energy on such a flat and relentless course. And Tom still in contention, dropping off the group a bit, but it's still a long race with 7 laps of this course. So as we see Charlie and Corin getting a bit of a gap here on the chase group, Charlie really putting the watts down on these technical sections. These steep little ramps, although not big climbs, they're very draining into the gully drop. Getting into the gully drop was actually harder than the gully drop itself because it's got really worn away and the roots got exposed, the bark got stripped off, so a lot of people are having issues getting actually up and into that line. So it's good to see all the riders through smoothly with Tom and Max now chasing on. Charlie again showing how important it is to carry the momentum and keep the bike nice and light, floating over sections if needed. And the gap is closing up between Max and his teammate Thomas. So as you can see, Charlie and Corin working through some lap traffic here with no issues, which is what we like to see, as the course was predominantly single track and quite narrow. So you had to be really tactical in where you chose to overtake, as well as catching lap traffic and trying to get through. As we can see them overtake one of the expert riders here. Max still chasing hard, looking like he's got a bit of a gap to Thomas, and now Corin coming through to dictate the pace on these more technical sections, perhaps showing he wanted a bit of a break because if you're sat in front, you can then control the speed of the person behind you if you want to slow the pace slightly. Thomas still fighting, still pushing on, but looks like he's been gapped quite a bit now with Corin and Charlie pressing on ahead as the race is evolving. Great to see such close racing between these two hitters, and it goes to show how fast they're going with the gap they've put over Max and Thomas. And Max and Thomas aren't slow by any means, so they are putting in a phenomenal effort. But here we see Charlie coming through and he's managed to gap Corin. Perhaps Corin went a bit too early on this flatter section of the course. Looks like he's hurting a bit there perhaps, and Thomas is still chasing on. No sign of Max, so it looks like Max has been dropped off the back. And here we see Charlie crossing the finish line on the final lap. What a day out. Clearly on good form still from last weekend at Novomesto. A fantastic performance by Charlie Aldridge and is looking really positive for the Olympics this year. Warren Carrick Anderson put on a really phenomenal ride to hang on to second place and get some important points for the series, as well as Thomas Main, who crosses the line in third. What a race, and here are your final results for the Elite Open. Charlie Aldridge in first place, Corin Carrick Anderson in second, Thomas Main in third place, Max Greensill in fourth, and Jason Boutelle hanging on to fifth place on the podium. Now for the Elite Female race. Back from some strong results at the Enduro World Cup, we have Hattie Harnden. Next to her we have Joanne Tom, we have Quiva May, Ella McLean Howell, Ruby James from Hope Factory Racing, and finally we have Amy Henshaw from Tour Performance. So a stacked ladies field here, and we are underway, all nice and cleanly on an absolutely prime day. Hattie taking an early lead and really making that lead stick, absolutely flying off the front, showing that she's still very capable of racing cross country. In second place, we have Anna Flynn, followed closely by Ella. So we see Hattie coming into the gully drop, making it look easy, putting all that Enduro World Cup experience to good use. And here we see her hitting the rock garden, taking the wider line here, but then cutting across. That's really hard to do because the rocks are quite slick and jagged. And if you catch a wheel on the wrong side, you can be down very quickly. Here we also see Anna Flynn nailing it, as well as Holly McMahon on the hardtail, which is not an easy task for that rock garden. Hattie, again, looking really strong over that drop, which shows the left-hand line is possibly faster, and all those seconds here and there start to add up. And then especially when you're as strong as Hattie is on the flat, she's got a really dominating lead. But we see Anna and Holly are not going to give up. They're still on the gas on this flat section, which is quite rough and really difficult to get the power down, but still riding strong. Hattie, though, really flowing through these technical sections, carrying that speed well, like we said about in the men's race, picking out those smooth lines, and then able to put the power down on those steep technical climbs as well to keep that momentum in the bike. Dropping into the gully, Hattie going for the high line, then cutting inside the stump, as well as Anna Flynn. And then here we still have Holly McMahon very much in the race, chasing after Anna Flynn and Hattie Harden out front, keeping it smooth, carrying the amount of speed onto this climb, this fiery climb, so you can really get onto the gas. These little turns all add up. Again, these punchy short climbs, they really drain on the legs, especially that one after the rock garden and before the single track, where it's a bit sticky, where it has been wet over the last few weeks. But as we can see here, the course has dried out really well. The wind, the sun, and the riders being on it has squeezed the moisture out, and it's led to some good fast racing. Hattie and Anna just coming through the pits and out onto another lap. We also have Nikki Healy and Eilish Gilbert chasing on, working together to try and reel them. Hattie absolutely smashing it up that climb, with Anna in second place chasing, and Nikki Healy up to third. Not sure where Ella's disappeared to, but as we can see, Hattie managed to have a commanding lead and roll across the line in first place, showing she's still got it for XC as well as Enduro. Anna Flynn hanging on to second, a strong performance from her. And finally, in third place, we have Nikki Healy, who, as you can see, is absolutely buzzing with this result. It means a lot to her. Great to see a strong ride from Nikki. So here are the final results. Harriet Harden, or Hattie, in first place, Anna Flynn second, Nikki Healy third, a strong ride from Eilish Gilbert to finish fourth, and then Joanne Tom hanging on to fifth place. That is your ladies' top five. So let's get stuck into the Junior Open race. A fast and ferocious start in this race. Absolutely everyone going hard into that first right-hand corner. The group was very tight, but we see Max Standen out front, Ben Capola in second, Dec Oldham in third, and we see Inez McDonald in fourth place. And they're all cleanly through the rock garden, which is good to see. Ben has dropped back a bit and over the drop, all using that left line we said about earlier. It's a little bit faster perhaps, but Max looking really strong out front, really pushing on, getting away with Inez, getting a bit of a gap over Declan. Got Max and Inez, they're really getting away now into the gully drop, nice and smooth and clean. That rut's forming and actually helping push the riders away from that tree on the exit. Here Declan's riding strong still, but let's see how the race finished up. So there we have it. Max Standen in first place, eventually getting a 2-minute gap over Innes McDonald. Dec Oldham riding really strong in third, Alex Hart in fourth, and Freddie Dixon in fifth from the last spot of the podium. What a race that was. Now onto our junior female, a hotly contested race, and they're off cleanly at the start. A stacked field with Evie Strachan with a really strong start and the inside line to that right hand corner, but it looks as though Bethany Ann Jackson has gotten ahead and these two have gotten away with a bit of a gap. In third place we have Madeline Morehouse Smith all chasing on for the podium, but it would be Bethany Ann Jackson who comes through and takes a commanding lead, riding really smoothly and strong through the rock garden as well as through the gully drop, those key technical features on the course, closely chased by Evie and also by Madeline, who both did really strong rides. Let's see how they got on overall. So Bethany Ann Jackson for Pine Sport managed to hang on and take the win. Evie Strachan from runandride.co.uk managed to hold on to second place, and Madeline Morehouse Smith for Hope Factory Racing took a strong third place on the day.